Yeah, I saw the Trump photos from the 9/11 memorial. I'm gonna keep it a $150. That motherfucker got a stroke, bro. That's crazy. Okay, now I am a little bit more committed to the he got AI base boosted on his face. Yeah, no, that's like that's not looking good. I can't believe I'm saying this. Blue One On might be right on this. That's strange. I have to see more. But Blue One On. Blue One On. Might have to give that to you, okay? Oh, man, that Nussy got me acting up. Okay. Watch the clip. Watch the video is even worse. In all seriousness, what's going on here? POTUS scheduled to be at the Yankee game tonight as well.
E. Taylor. Lieutenant Colonel Kip P. Taylor, United States Army. Leonard E. Taylor.
I mean, he's just bored here, but
Sandra C. Taylor.
like he's just bored here, but like what's actually interesting is the lip. Wrong side of the face for a stroke. Do we know if it's just do we know if it's mirrored? Or it can be any side, right? Yeah, no, that he doesn't look good. I'll tell you that. I'll admit that. God damn, he doesn't look good at all. Holy fuck, okay? He looks bad. Don't say Nussy for a while, bro. Come on. What? Why? That looks like a couple massively. That's also the look of a couple massively in love. His face is just flying at half mast. Excuse me, that man is a father and a grandfather. How dare you make light of his possible stroke like this? Yeah, he's leaning left right now. Let me tell you, okay? First time in a long time. He's just mewing. Okay, stop. Can you change the tab away from the Nussy? Oh, it got you acting up too, huh? That's what happened, huh? Steven Crowder has been subpoenaed by the ATF. Oh, that's so funny. Bro, it's stuck like that. Look at the full. Wait, is that from today? I can't get a good read on that one. But the whole day, he was drooping left, dude. It looks minor, though. I mean, and it's not... What the heliante, brother? What the hell? You can't see the Getty Images is right in the way, but... Vaccine? Vaccine? Question mark? Okay. Let's get back to this.
Tremendous talent to do what he's done. Building one of the most powerful youth organizations ever created, Turning Point USA, and I want to thank you, really, Charlie. Incredible job.
After the 2020 election, Kirk was among those promoting false claims of election fraud. 4 years later, after Trump's re-election, he was credited with delivering the youth vote.
His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
This is
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just could be. It could be base boosted a little bit. Like, I mean, like I said, it's the reason why you're seeing all this like weird shit is because there is obviously like editing tools that factor AI, like AI upscaling and the artifacting and stuff that you see in that video is most likely a consequence of that. I don't think it's like a full blown AI video, like it's a fake Trump or anything like that. I think it's just like him talking. And there's definitely a filter, and people have said it's like a morph edit. But it's not dissimilar to the way like a TikTok filter works sometimes, and that's it. But I can see maybe they used something that was weird for his mouth or something if he's like incapable of delivering a speech without slurring or without his mouth like drooping off the side of his face or something like that. But people said like look at the hands and whatnot, but that like hand placement at the 18th second where his hand like literally changes sizes, like all of that stuff can happen with AI, or not AI altogether, but with some sort of like upscaling software that they're using that utilizes AI. Like, that's it. So I'm still committed to it's most likely some kind of morph cut or some kind of AI enhancement, but not necessarily like a completely fake video that they just used like a generative AI tool to make. Which is also what I said yesterday as well about like the AI upscaling. So that seems like the most likely outcome. There was a couple other conspiracies that I want to address as well. One which I also personally entertained in private, not in public, but last night. So there were some Eddington moments, some Eddington-ass moments that took place with some of the information that was revealed. Some are completely ridiculous. Others are not so ridiculous. Number one, people saying like, oh, Charlie Kirk's security detail, we're doing hand signals. Okay. There's three primary things that people are presenting outside of like the obvious reasons why this looks strange. Like the fact that the shooter got away. They couldn't find who the shooter is. All this stuff is strange. But like beyond that, there's three primary things that people have pointed to. Number one is this video where they're claiming that there were hand signals being presented. Here it is. After seeing Trump's response and how quickly they had it prepared, I'm pretty convinced MAGA just sacrificed Charlie Kirk in an effort to save Trump from the Epstein files and the wars he can't stop. Add in this dude giving baseball signs while standing perfectly to the side of the bullet track only further convinces me things aren't as they seem, and the shooter vanished. We shall see more information as it comes out, but I doubt this was a liberal.
How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
I don't think any of these are hand signals. Okay, I think this is a bit of a reach. This has 101,000 likes, by the way, and I've seen many different iterations of this. Now, I think it's a reach. I don't think that was like a hand signal that was giving an opportunity for a tactical shot or something. It's just his own security details. So that's number one. The other one was what were the three different ones? God damn it. One was the hand signal. The other one was the private jet. But I'm going to talk about the private jet one too, but hold on. I was talking to Kyle Kalinske about this, and I'm going to give you the private jet one. The private jet one is the one that I entertained as well. and I talked to some other like visual investigations people, and no way, man. Totally normal to give kill shot signals from downrange, a meter from the target. Yeah, exactly. That stuff is kind of ridiculous. But hold on. Let me see what are the ones he presented. God damn, I got so many fucking people sending me shit. Oh, and then the AI. We already covered the AI, Trump AI one. But the last conspiracy that was
This week, Mr. President,
Wait.
I witnessed more than 60 people in DRC Congo were killed. There is people
Wait, what?
affiliated with
He doesn't seem so droopy now. What now, liberals? Blue and on. He doesn't seem droopy at all.
for Congolese people.
Well, we're going to be talking to them. As you know, we are talking to them. It's a very violent place. It's very, very violent.
Bad angle. He's cloned. No, man. He just doesn't look. He doesn't look droopy. Oh, come on, come on. He got no droop. We can be honest, right? Maybe it's the camera angle, but come on,
It's
move your
terrible.
face
They ought
more.
to be ashamed of themselves. It's terrible.
Why haven't they found the shooter yet, Mr. President? Are you concerned that it's been 24 hours?
Wait.
Well, I hear they're making big progress, and we'll have to see what happens.
Do you have any indication of the shooter's motivation, sir?
I have an indication, yeah, but we'll let you know about that later. Thank you.
About the Russian attack in Poland. You spoke with Uzbekistan president, and this last Sunday you sent greetings to Kazakhstan. UN General Assembly is upcoming. Are you going to meet with the presidents of Central Asian countries?
President where?
Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
I will be, yeah. They're very good people, and I will be doing that, yes.
So you believe the killer was a trained assassin? Usually your instincts are always on.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did, was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Mr. President, in Brazil, Bolsonaro was just found guilty by the Supreme Court. You've been very clear that you would apply sanctions. Are you thinking further sanctions to Brazil because of this Bolsonaro?
Well, I watched that trial. I know him pretty well. Foreign leader. I thought he was a good president of Brazil. And it's very surprising that that could happen. That's very much like they tried to do with me, but they didn't get away with it at all. But I can only say this. I knew him as president of Brazil. He was a good man. And I don't see that happening.
I'm very sorry for your loss. Everybody's loss. I'm very sorry for your loss, first of all.
Thank you.
How do you think Israel's attack in Doha will affect the hostage deal?
You better say it a little bit more. Where are you from?
I'm from Israel. Channel 14
Okay,
is like
go ahead, do it
Israeli
again.
Fox.
Do it again.
How do you think Israel's attack in Doha will affect the hostage deal?
Well, hopefully it won't affect it at all. We want the hostages out, and we want them out soon. Hopefully it won't affect it.
Mr. President, my condolences on the loss of your friend. How are you holding up over the last 3.5 years?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
Thank you so much.
Your message to the young
Okay, so We didn't get a Droop Watch. Droop Watch came up. Droop Watch came up, but it didn't look too good for the Droop lovers. Okay, I'll keep it at $150. He looked droopless and dripless, but he's always dripless. Anytime you think this man is victim to divine intervention, he comes back harder than before. Okay? I'm just frustrated. It's just he's not drooping. Okay, you're trolling. I'm not. Wit gone out the window. You're trolling. I think he's got regular old man droop, not like what we saw at the photos at the 9/11 memorial. Anyway, he stared directly at the sun during his last presidency. Lamau got fucking COVID. We just keep coping. I know. What is this? FBI, please look into this man immediately. Oh, yeah, this guy, I don't know what the hell was going on here, but apparently there was a guy who was like celebrating. Like when people were literally on the ground or something. I don't know what this is about. This was another thing that like the conspiracy theorists were just like pointing to. Oh, but we'll talk about, if you watch the video, it seems like he's chanting USA, trying to get them to do the, oh, you think he was trying to do the USA thing like with Trump? No, it's not before the event. It's happening while they're literally moving Charlie Kirk in the background. You can see right here. Anyway, listen. The last part of the conspiracy puzzle that even I found myself at the mercy of for a brief moment was the private jet that took off. The private jet that took off from the private jet terminal that is like 12 minutes away from UVU campus. Okay? So, given that I loved Ari Aster's Eddington and urged everyone to watch Eddington as well, I am willing to admit that maybe I was a little heavy-handed. This is from a guy named Cillian, I think. He posted this. Oh, here. Okay, this is it. Why did a private jet go dark for 20 minutes after Charlie Kirk was taken out? Let's line this up. Charlie Kirk is assassinated at a Utah Valley event. Exactly 12 minutes later, a private jet tail number N888KG departs from a private airfield just a few miles away. The jet's transponder goes dark mid-air. No radar signal, no flight path, no destination log. It reappears headed back to the U.S., not wherever it went. No public manifest, no confirmed passengers, no statements from the FAA or FBI. The FBI's manhunt has yielded no suspect, no motive, and no arrest. So I thought it was like also very suspicious. The private jet turns off its ADB transponder, which is illegal, obviously, and then it turns it back on when it's like landing in Provo, right? And I talked to Austin about this. I talked to a bunch of visual investigations people about this as well. And the thing is, that can happen. Like there are areas apparently where like that can just fail and you can just like lose connection. The websites that are tracking this stuff also are not very reliable in terms of like real-time information. I'm a pilot. Transponders aren't actually required for a lot of flight operations. Okay, that, but it was on and then it turned off. That's what's suspicious about it. But when you look at it, it turns out that one, the websites that do real-time tracking, are also not exactly very good. They're not always reliable. That's number one. And number two, there are dead zones, from what I understand. Yeah, okay, if it's flight radar, that just happens. Yeah. And from what I understand, that is potentially a dead zone as well. So that's, I think, a much better assessment of the situation. Who owns N8KG? Why wasn't the FAA grounded it? Anyway, why was it a transponder off? A violation of federal law, blah, 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 all this stuff. But the pilot could have planned that going through a dead zone. Okay, but that's not reliable. I'm a better pilot, and the flight that aircraft was taking would have required a transponder. Okay, hold on. Is it common for private jets to take off their airfield? Yes. It's a private jet airfield. In Provo Airport, it left 30 minutes into the flight. The plane dropped its ADS-B, which shows location, altitude, speed, and air traffic control, and reappeared 45 minutes later, heading back to Provo. But no transponder on 9/11. Yeah, exactly. I just looked at the tail number on ADS-B Exchange, and it went through its flight history, and it makes the same trip it did yesterday a bunch of times. Yeah, I think it's just a Utah billionaire that uses, unironically, Taylor Swift style, uses his fucking private jet to fly inside of Utah with regular frequency. That's what I think it is. But where was it? God damn it. There's a ton of dead zones. Not suspicious at all. NA8KG flew into an area with poor reception, nothing weird as far as I can tell, until they flew below the line of sight of local receivers. They were broadcasting the whole way. Lots of mountains and valleys get in the way of reception too. Yeah. So that is the what would even be the insinuation? Oh, that the shooter is I mean, it's like espionage, or not espionage, but like it's an intelligence asset that quickly was exfiltrated after the assassination, and just like got on a private jet and was moved elsewhere. Leftists famously use private jets. Wait, no, that's not the point at all. Private jets have been used in like CIA operations and shit all the time. That's normal. Or even Cessnas too. That's why I said it's Eddington. For those of you who haven't seen Eddington, there's a scene in Eddington where this literally happens. So, you know, I got Eddington on my mind. But yeah. Thoughts on the Lib Debate Bros reaction? I mean, they're fucking kids, man. They're young, and they're traumatized, and they feel close to the matter because of their proximity to Charlie Kirk. Like, I don't know. I just like I know that the first inclination is to say like, oh well, why one of them was literally there, so that's already like an inherently traumatic experience. And the other, again, has like trailed him around. The other has, followed him around. Parker was there literally, and Dean was slated to, continue following him around at these like campus events so he can get like a dunk on him. So I think like that's mostly what it is. That's the reason why they were like crying and stuff. wouldn't it be similar to your feelings? I mean, I'm a little bit older and been around the block quite a few times, and also have ideological convictions that it's just like that make me see every situation in a totally different lens. So, I mean, but I was fucking traumatized by what I saw too, and remember, like, I look at traumatic incidents every day. I've seen the charred flesh of so many children in Gaza. And while that is also insanely traumatizing, insanely brutal, and it desensitizes you to that sort of thing, it's still a little bit different when it's a dude that you know. And it's also a dude, not only is a dude that you know, even if you don't like them, right? It's a person that's basically doing what you do on the other side, which is why I kept repeating yesterday over and over again that, I kept repeating over and over again, like, I am too close to this situation. I'm too close to the situation because, one, I was supposed to appear at a public event alongside him in 2 weeks. Two, this is a person who I have debated in the past at public events. And last but not least, as someone who is a political commentator who does public events with regular frequency, that is the thing that's always on the back of your mind. So watching it unfold is like, it's like seeing your own scariest scenario unfold in real time. That's it. So I think it's a combination of those feelings is the reason why these guys reacted the way that they did. You fed into this machine. What is it? It's called empathy. Try it sometime. You fed into this machine. I'm empathetic to my enemies far more than they are to me. To such it's ironic because, like, saying it's called empathy, try it sometime about Charlie Kirk is such a funny thing to say in this moment, because Charlie Kirk has said empathy is abhorrent, that he has no empathy. Empathy is a made up concept by wokes. Cap? You said Cap? Roll the clip. Who has it? I know a motherfucker in the chat was waiting for this moment. So why sake your own? Wait, I didn't.
And the word empathy, actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term.
Bitch. What happened? What happened, dumbass chatter? What now? Bro's just a tourist. Like, he's just here. He's just in it for the love of the game. Here, you want to see the full clip? This is the full clip. He said Bill Clinton invented it, I think.
There's some really good polling out of Alaska that shows that Kelly Shabaka is gaining on Lisa Murkowski and is in a very, very good position despite the unconstitutional, immoral, incredibly complicated rank choice voting system. Never should have been approved. It's silly. It's backwards. It's rigged. It's awful. So the new communication strategy for Democrats, now that their polling advantage is collapsing in every single state, it's collapsing in Ohio, it's collapsing even in Arizona. It is now a race where Blake Masters is in striking distance. Kerry Lake is doing very, very well. The new communication strategy is not to do what Bill Clinton used to do, where he would say, I feel your pain. Instead, it is to say, you're actually not in pain. So let's just, a very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that it does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time. Here's cut 65.
This is not the only time where he's talked about this, for the record. He has said, like, he said that empathy was invented by Bill Clinton. It's a new age concept. Yeah, I mean, this man is a real yapper, or was a real yapper, right? Pretty sure that, what is it? The person Hasan responded to is a massive Destiny/L3 freak. They're the one constantly posting clips of Hasan on Reddit. I recommend banning them. They have the same username on Reddit and Twitter. Wait, this guy is? Nah, Hasan, you're a Mossad psyop for sure. I know what he said. I don't like his ideas. Wait. Let's entertain the clipper for a second. Now that it's at your doorstep, it's a problem. A lot of these guys, whether they are on the right or whether they think that they're on the left or whether they're liberal, have made up their minds in the same exact way that these hysterical right-wingers have, on this notion that the left is the side of the violence. Okay? The left is on the side of the violence, and now violent retribution is coming your way. Right? All they have in this situation is you the same, bro. That's all they got. Posturing about this supposed retribution coming my way, when you are advocating and have been advocating for said retribution, this violent retribution, for some made up fucking reason. There's never been a moment, and the Groypers are doing this shit too, by the way, which is really funny. There's never been a moment where I've said that this is a good thing, or Charlie Kirk deserves, or anyone really deserves this, right? But you just have to operate on vibes where you're like, nah, violent retribution is coming your way because you're a violent guy. You're a violent guy. I know you're a violent guy. And the instances that they try to present in this regard are always shit that I was never advocating for. You know, things that they try to posture, things that they try to prop up as like, as me being committed to doing violence. If I was committed to Charlie Kirk being shot in broad daylight, why the fuck would I want to debate him? Why the fuck would I say yes to being next to him at a public event? They never think. He posts Hutch clips of the H3 subreddit. Yeah. And it's so crazy. At what point, chatter, Tom Cotton, Rick Scott, somebody's got to do it. You know what's really funny about the someone's got to do it narrative? That's me describing the overall environment of uncertainty. If you go back and you listen to my commentary on Luigi Mangione, you would also realize, allegedly, when Luigi Mangione allegedly shot and killed Brian Thompson, I talked about adventurism and decentralized violence. And I talked about why society broadly was receptive to this otherwise very violent move. And the reason why society was broadly receptive to this otherwise very violent move is because of the increasing uncertainty and the social fabric unwinding in broad daylight in real time. The material conditions deteriorating. This causes a lot of enmity. This causes a lot of animosity. This causes a lot of anger. And in all of that anger, when there is no direction, there's no pressure valve to release in the form of democracy, in the form of the democratic process, in the form of like a comprehensive legislative agenda that provides tangible improvements that people can see and feel. They just get increasingly swept away with said anger. Okay? That's it. Yeah, like notice also that you present yourself as a liberal, right? You think you're a liberal. You like H3H3. You like Destiny. You think these guys are liberals. And you yourself think you are a liberal. And yet, here you are, cynically posturing at the behest of right-wingers in the exact same way that right-wingers posture, doing that same exact cynical virtue signaling, like, oh, this is really radicalizing, dangerous language coming from you. Is it that important for you to try and disparage someone your favorite content creator has decided is an ideological opponent? Okay? That's it. There's already enough, don't you think? There's already enough hatred directed my way from the right. People fantasizing about openly killing me. Why do you as a liberal also choose to participate in this pylon with also the exact same cynical framing? Like, what good does this do? As I've said before, even if I was like murdered in a similar fashion, right? Would that actually improve your life? And if the answer to that is yes, you really need to reflect. Like saying you're a cancer because you're a cancer. That's a problem for you. That's it. That's a real issue, man. Especially, I wouldn't be saying this if you were just like openly a Republican, right? Because I understand why a Republican. Okay, come on. If you were openly a Republican, I understand this level of enmity, right? I understand where you're coming from because Republicans have already deluded themselves into thinking that I'm like this cancerous force because I'm, anti-reactionary. I'm anti-fascist. I abhor all of these policies that they present. What I don't understand is when liberals do this, right? Liberals who have decided on their own that even in this time when there is so ever-present a danger of fascism in this country, they still turn around and go, nah, dude, it's not the Trump administration. It's not the Republicans. It's not the Republican commentary. It's actually the left. It's the leftist content creators. It's leftist organizing. It's a leftist Twitch streamer. You are a deeply unserious person, or you have a lot of unresolved issues internally if you don't understand what this moment requires. Okay? You need to lock in. That's it. And I need to lock in too. I need to stop talking to fucking shit libs who, even at this moment when Donald Trump is literally doing military invasions on American cities, talking about how he's going to destroy any kind of leftist and liberal organizing in the country, falsely blaming the entirety of the Democratic Party on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, while simultaneously really increasing the violent rhetoric on his side. Those who still turn around and say, it's the left's fault. You are a deeply unserious person, or you are delusional about your loyalties. You actually are a Republican, most likely. That's it. It's lunatic behavior. It makes less sense than the way that Republicans present themselves. At least I can understand that, you know? I can understand why a Republican feels that way. I get it. They've spent a life of delusion. They have a lifetime of reactionary opinions that they have not checked. I can't come to terms with people who fancy themselves to be liberals who take this position, though, especially right now. Because Fascism is here. It's here. It's here. We have masked thugs black bagging people at court hearings, at factories, at farms. We have unimaginable political repression. We have an administration that is trying to actively beef up the Gestapo, right? Soldiers that are loyal to the cause and getting paid and rewarded handsomely to do so. And you look at the situation and you think to yourself, you know what's going on? You know what's the real problem here? Leftists who made me feel bad because it seems like their criticisms of the Kamala Harris campaign were correct, or their criticisms about Israel's behavior was correct, but that made me feel bad back then. So I'm just going to keep up that resentment forever. This should be a wake-up call for you, chatter. They're not just calling for my death, they're calling for yours too. If you're a liberal, you're not going to be spared. You know? Snap out of this stupor that you have designed for yourself.
What Charlie Kirk did, went to colleges and high schools to spread his often controversial version of conservative beliefs. Wednesday in Utah, when asked about the numbers of mass shootings, Kirk asked if it would include numbers from gang violence. And then... Great! A single shot is heard.
Jesus Christ.
Utah's governor said it was clearly an act of political violence.
When someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened.
President Donald Trump took to social media to announce Kirk's death and later posted this video.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree.
Kirk was a huge supporter of President Trump, credited with helping swing many young white men in his direction and helping him win 2 elections. But Kirk was incredibly controversial.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life.
He often spent time on his podcast and social media degrading Islam, focusing on alleged crimes committed by African Americans against white people, once saying that the U.S. is the least racist country in the history of the world. Views that took hold with millions of his supporters, and there are concerns his death could lead to more violence.
It's as bad as the 70s and 80s. And that's when we had a lot of political assassinations, some of the most famous ones, 60s, 70s. And we're getting to that point now where, I think in the 70s they were having 1,800 bombings a year. I mean, that's the situation we could be reliving now.
Kirk was a big believer in the right to carry arms, once making this chilling remark.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Oh my God. Now the question, with his death that authorities are calling a political assassination, lead to more violence in the United States. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Okay, love you.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news.
Charlie Kirk was a
dude. All of the impact stuff is so crazy. What is this? You may not realize that every time you call the right Nazis, Gestapos, fascists, you feel some psycho to do something crazy like this because they think they're ridding the world of evil. We have to stop this rhetoric. Words have power. You do realize that virtually every single Republican has called for my assassination by saying that I am responsible for 9/11, loved 9/11, want more 9/11s to happen, am a terrorist, interviewed terrorists, love terrorism, and want it to happen all the fucking time. If you think that in some hypothetical scenario where there's going to be violent retribution towards the right because I'm correctly pointing out fascist sentiment, then what the fuck do you have to say about the other side's argumentation? And they don't just call me that either, by the way. Okay? They call elected representatives that all the fucking time. There is a major asymmetry in the violent rhetoric when it comes to active politicians on the right versus Democrat Party politicians on the left. You have not been able to figure out this asymmetry, though, because I assume that you are more angry about people calling out the fascism rather than the actual fascism itself. And that's the problem. You should be angry about the fascism. You should be angry about fascist behavior. You should be angry about Nazi behavior. Do you understand? This attitude is the identical one that Trump presented, as a matter of fact. He said, people that call me a Nazi, people that call me a fascist, were basically calling for my death. People that did that for Charlie were basically calling for his death. And now, this fascist administration is going to take action against people who correctly point out supremacist ideals. They're going to, you're calling us a Nazi, their way into a Nazi development. What are we doing here? This is so ridiculous. Yeah, what does Chatter believes right-wingers think should be done to those who are branded terrorists or commies? Exactly. I think the point is that the Nazi claims appear hollow and hyperbolic considering the atrocities that Nazis committed. I know. I've heard from squishy libs over and over again. You can't call this a Nazi. You can't call that a Nazi. You're calling everything a Nazi. Meanwhile, that fucking permission structure only deflates to a certain degree where it's only Adolf Hitler that was a Nazi and nobody else. Okay? These are not hyperbolic or hollow claims. If someone is trying to design concentration camps and actually take away the citizenship of whoever the fuck they have decided are branded as villains, okay, then it is identical to the way that Nazis formed their political ideology. That's it. Considering that to be very similar to the early stages of Nazi development, and calling it out as such is not wrong. The only reason why you think it's wrong is because you don't disagree with the policies of this administration. And instead of trying to reckon with that, instead of trying to offer counter narratives as to why this administration is different somehow, or the policies are different somehow, the ideological underpinnings are actually totally not the same as Nazi Germany, okay? You just posture vaguely and point to the aesthetic critique. That's it. And the same goes for Israel as well. An ideology of ethnic and religious supremacy, an exterminationist principle, consistently dehumanizing and advocating to exterminate the outgroup, Palestinians, Arabs, people who are not Jewish. It is a one-to-one comparison. It doesn't have to be the exact same methods that were deployed, gas chambers and death camps and concentration camps, for something to be considered fascist or Nazi, okay? And Republican politicians are saying this now. Yeah. This man says it's on the House floor and will turn around and say Republicans just want to be civil. They spread hate and fuel anger and cry when the fire they set consumes them. There's no longer any middle ground. Some on the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate God, the truth, the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. It's not only like violent rhetoric, which is, I mean, it's just a part of the process, right? But it's also wrong. Do you understand?
For us, well, everything has changed. If we didn't know it already, there is no longer any middle ground. Some of the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate the good, the truth, and the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. And they literally will kill those with whom they disagree, just as their predecessor leftists Marx and Stalin and Lenin and Pol Pot and Fidel Castro did. We must know that. And
you are the opposite of Charlie Kirk politically in a different reality. We'd be watching Charlie Kirk cover your death. Both sides are wrong, and people need to come together. No side is morally above the other. This does nothing to make us weaker as a country. Dog, my worldview does not revolve around consistently claiming that an ethnic group or any sort of inalienable characteristic or trait means that someone is inferior. Okay? There is no both sides on this. This is fucking delusional. I believe in a very radical proposition that everyone has the capacity to reform and rehabilitate, okay? That's what I believe. People who just sit around and go, both sides are the same is crazy. Charlie Kirk has spent a lifetime fucking talking about like how fearful he is of a black pilot, of the Civil Rights Act was actually a mistake. Like consistently trying to draw the clock of progress backwards to the best of his ability and to some success, as a matter of fact. People with no political convictions who cannot comprehend how different ideologies yield different outcomes just look at the situation from afar and go, these guys are both talking about politics. You're not wrong when you say I'm the opposite of Charlie Kirk politically, okay? You're not wrong about that at all. It's something that I say too. I am diametrically opposed to everything that he presented, every single thing, okay? That's part of the reason why a lot of people want me dead as well, okay? But to say that the world that we want to see, the design that we have for a better future is equally as violent or abhorrent or repugnant is insane. The logical conclusion to the worldview that is designed by the right broadly, not just Charlie Kirk, but like by the right broadly, is something that we've seen before. Okay? It has been an abject failure. It's led to concentration camps. It's led to permanent violence, death and destruction of groups that have been designed as the ultimate villains of society for no other reason other than the fact that they were a valuable target. They were a good enough distraction for these populations to hyper-focus on. I don't do that. I want universal healthcare. I want a nationalized healthcare system. I want public housing, okay? These two things are not the same. I don't want concentration camps for migrants. My starting point isn't that like people born on a different side of the planet are automatically worse than me and I must fear them for that reason. My starting point on this is everyone is the same, okay? It's about the opportunity that is presented. It's about their material conditions that they're born into that actually dictate who they become. How can you say these two worldviews are just diametrically opposite, but also the middle is actually where the truth lies? Anyway. Yeah. Let's get back to the way that this both sides are the same nonsensical bullshit. Okay?
A prominent conservative voice who motivated a huge number of young Republicans.
Fart P says, did you hear about what happened to Charlie Kirk? Yes, Fart P, I heard.
Through his organization, Turning Point USA. He used podcasts and campus tours to build his political momentum and movement and had a close and influential relationship with President Trump. Nancy Cortez has more on Kirk's impact.
You guys are the beginning portion of the greatest political comeback in American history.
For more than a decade, Charlie Kirk has been the leading conservative activist, motivating young people to back Republicans.
I want Trump to be president.
Kirk burst onto the political scene in 2012, launching Turning Point USA. He was just 18 years old, with high hopes of boosting high school and college Republicans across often liberal-leaning campuses.
We need to get on the college campuses, we need to get in the classrooms and challenge the ideals that are crumbling our democracy.
Yeah, back then it was all old people, by the way, that were both funding him and also knew about him. Post-TikTok Charlie Kirk is a different demon for sure, but pre-TikTok Charlie Kirk, he was just a guy who was going to college campuses and going to high schools and trying to manipulate student government body elections and was getting funded massively to do so. But he utilized that infrastructure that he had designed to churn out a lot of content and the unlimited funds that he got to churn out a lot of content and basically rode the Trump train all the way to the top. Yeah, I remember covering his limited success, the diaper party. Yeah, the diaper thing that Turning Point USA did, where they wore diapers on college campus. I don't know if you guys remember that, where they were like crying babies to make it seem like they're safe spaces or whatever. And they had no motion whatsoever. They were just basically getting money from older conservatives to do like a shit ton of ads that wasn't reaching young people at all beyond like the Young Americans for Freedom Foundation or college conservatives, like campus conservative movements. I will say, however, post TikTok, those dunk compilations, especially paired up with like the anger and resentment that a lot of young men felt, led a lot of people into the Charlie Kirk direction. It led a lot of young people to look at what Charlie Kirk was doing and enjoy what he was doing in a way that is not dissimilar to how Ben Shapiro and his SJW owned compilations blew the fuck up in the first Trump era. Okay? It's not new. Do you understand? This is not new. The concept was not new. The format was not new. He just had the infrastructure already built in, so he used it. The very same people, and many of you in here probably also found yourselves in the mercy of this kind of reactionary sentiment at a certain point in time where you watched those SJW-owned compilations, right? You probably watched that shit. You were going down the right-wing radicalization pipeline, right? And then you just snapped out of it at a certain point, you know, and maybe you found my content. Who knows? But Charlie Kirk basically did that exact same method, and he did it very successfully. Okay? He did it very successfully. He's the new Gen Z Ben Shapiro archetype. Now, for the record, this will always exist. There will be other people exactly like Charlie Kirk in the future as well. There will be other people that do the exact same format, ritualistically humiliating, college freshmen who are ill-equipped to have a conversation in an incredibly restricted format, where obviously the confident speaker, Charlie Kirk, has a lot more power seemingly, and with deceptive editing added on, you can just make it look like these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and then you can cast a broad. You can cast the entire modern left with that same exact cartoonish depiction. Okay? It happened with Ben Shapiro, it happened with Steven Crowder, and it happened with Charlie Kirk. the notion that this is unique or new is not correct. But also, these are systemic forces that play. There are systemic forces that play a formative role in the way that people reflect on their own personal politics. If people were confident about a better future, if there was a political party with conviction on the left flank, on the left side of American politics, for example, that was presenting an alternative vision that truly, like a Zoran style vision, for example, Donald Trump would not have been able to win favors with the Gen Z vote at all. That's it. And that's precisely the reason why, despite Charlie Kirk's consistent attempts, ultimately, the Gen Z opinion swung back away from Donald Trump over the course of the past 9 months.
The organization gained traction with its signature upbeat events centered on Christian conservative ideals. The nonprofit now boasts more than 250,000 student members.
Charlie Kirk, you know Charlie Kirk, great guy?
Donald Trump's presidencies propelled Kirk to national prominence.
What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president.
But we're glad you did.
At just 26, Kirk opened the 2020 Republican National Convention.
I see the angst of young people as well as the challenges facing new parents.
4 years later, he was a leading force behind Trump's re-election, holding rallies and events to drive a wave of conservative young men to the polls.
If you say, I don't know if I could live under a Kamala Harris presidency, we need to do something about it. We need to go chase the ballots.
And while Kirk was a frequent visitor to the White House, he still embraced where he got his start, college campuses. While touring, he was known for debating liberal students, delighting in the open discussion of ideas.
Healthcare costs are exploding because we don't actually address the root cause.
He didn't always change opinions.
I care about excellence, not diversity. Because I do not believe diversity is a strength. I believe unity is a strength. I believe the pursuit of higher purposes is a strength. Does that make sense?
But
why can't diverse populations be united and be strong? Do you understand? This is just the same exact anti-diversity rhetoric that you hear from every right-winger. Okay? That's it. It's a way to signal to a right-wing audience, and also it's a way to make this kind of attitude more palatable to a broader audience, even liberals especially. To go, oh, dude, I don't understand. What are you saying? He's just saying he wants unity. What, you hate unity? It's like, no. He is positioning himself against diversity by saying there can be no unity while there is diversity. That's ethnic purity. He's demanding ethnic purity. Yeah, multiculturalism is a failure. Saying that in America is so funny too, but and a lot of people don't get it. And that's why I'm additionally frustrated with the way that people have eulogized Charlie Kirk without like accurately reflecting on his political output as a political operative. That was his main output. You know? That's his whole job.
He did help shape the political conversation for a new generation. For CBS Mornings, I'm Nancy Cordes in Washington.
You don't whitewash the dead. Kirk did not practice politics in the right way. He boasted of fomenting the J6 insurrection. As I said, he called for televised executions. He used the most vile language. He practiced a McCarthyism on campuses. This is not free speech. There is no need in speaking. We can speak against political violence without somehow twisting ourselves around to defend others who spoke for it. We don't.
Yeah. That's it. It's true.
Have to imitate Kirk's violent rhetoric.
No one cares if it was someone like you because it would be another terrorist dead. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. The reason why, and the Democrats wouldn't do it either. They wouldn't defend it. And the reason for why is because I think in many ways, I think a lot of people, especially in positions of power, they also think Charlie Kirk just represents like a different perspective. They don't actually think about what that perspective is. You are such a victim, ha ha ha. I mean, I'm not. Clearly.
And nor do we have to cover it up. You're seeing some people saying, well, I disagree with what he said, but he was a champion of free speech. He died debating. Look, the fact that he was murdered doesn't change the fact that he was an opponent of free speech. There's no other way to cut it for a man who created something called Professor Watch List.
Yeah, not only is he an opponent or was an opponent of free speech, but Trump is actually using his death as a point of martyrdom to continue attacking free speech even further. And I'm over here being like, this is crazy. Look at what he's saying. Look at what he wants to do. And motherfuckers are still running around being like, nope. You know what's the real problem? The left. The State Department on Thursday indicated it would review the legal status of immigrants praising, rationalizing, or making light of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's fatal shooting. Like, think about that. We're going to start deporting people that are legally here if we don't like their opinion on the president's favorite fucking pundit. Do you understand how insane that is? It was already insane from the start to apply this kind of metric to sufficient loyalty to a foreign state, Israel. But how can people not realize that this right here is a clear-cut violation of free speech? It's crazy.
School board watch list to name and frighten people from teaching, who advocated restrictions on what school teachers could teach.
Our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl, who spoke to the president right after the shooting.
What is this? It's not about not licking Charlie. It's about making fun of him. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? At what point is deportation appropriate for making fun of someone who died? Like even that. Are you fucking insane? How can you look at the situation and go, no, that's valid? Do you think I would be on board with deporting? Do you think I would be on board with because he's American? Okay, so am I. Do you think I would be on board with deporting people from this country for making fun of, I don't know, Joe Biden? Are you fucking stupid? I think I'm talking, but he was murdered and it encourages more. I think I'm talking to a child. Like actually talking to a child with a child brain. Yeah, Clay Higgins is advocating to deplatform critics. I'm going to use the congressional authority and every influence of big tech platforms to mandate immediate ban for life of every post or commenter that belittled the assassination of Charlie Kirk. If they ran their mouth with their smart-ass hatred celebrating the heinous murder of that beautiful young man who dedicated his whole life to delivering respectful conservative truth to the hearts of liberal enclave universities, armed with only a Bible and a microphone and a constitution, those profiles must come down. So I'm going to lean forward in this fight. Ironically enough, you're talking about defending the Constitution while also actively demanding an unconstitutional thing. Okay? Because you're not a random guy. You are demanding with the authority that you have with the government, the authority given to you with the government to actually encroach on free speech. Now, I don't think it's going to happen regardless, but it's just so crazy that these guys don't even recognize what the fuck they're saying. Here's what Clay Higgins had to, of classic, another this you moment. Here's what Clay Higgins had to say on social media after the attempted murder of Nancy Pelosi's husband. That moment you realized the nudist hippie male prostitute LSD guy was the reason your husband didn't make it to your fundraiser. By your own words, freedom of speech has consequences. Now it's against your side and you cry. This is comedy. What are you saying? If you have an issue with what I have to say, you can yell about it every day. And people do all the time. I don't give a shit. Suck my dick. What we're talking about is an actual violation of free speech, you dumb fuck, which is when the government actually intervenes in free discourse. What are you talking about? The shoe's on the other foot. How does it feel? You literally can look at your own words, moron. Oh my God. Sometimes I feel like it's just too much of a foolhardy endeavor to try to fucking to try to talk to people that are just too stupid to understand the English language. There's a difference between me saying whatever the fuck I'm saying and you not liking that and yelling at me over it. That's fine. People do that to me every day. Some people on the left even do that to me every day. Who gives a fuck? You want to attack our culture, feel the consequences? Our culture? What is your culture? What are you saying? If your culture is abiding by the constitutional protections, which literally very clearly define that the government cannot interfere in free discourse, in free speech, then it's not your culture anymore. You're defending a totally different culture. That's it. It means we can't live alongside with your murderous intent for now. And you're also fucking fantasizing about like murderous intent that I have for you. I don't have murderous intent for you. The monkey's paw has curled. You want to attack our culture, feel the consequences. The monkey's paw has curled. The hogs are back in chat. No, I love that. I'm fine. I'm excited that the hogs are here again. I miss them. I miss them. It's important to understand. It is important to understand what these guys think, what these guys believe. Okay? This is what years of imagined self-victimization amounts to. They have built the permission structure to justify any suppression, violence, or harm. Yeah. Yeah, I want to brutalize you and attack you by giving you free healthcare. I want to brutalize you and attack you by making sure that your fucking material conditions improve, okay? So that you no longer have to fear that you're going to be priced out of the housing market and live on the fucking street. That's what I want to do. Regardless of whatever your fucking dumbass ideology is. Anyway, go ahead. Explain what you mean. You attack our culture. What the fuck are you talking about? What is your culture? Anyway. This is not American. This is un-American. But for a lot of people, I think American culture and patriotism is whatever the fuck the most right-wing person claims at any given moment. That's it. It's so funny that the Republicans tried this when Trump had that attempted assassination, right? Where they were like, you actually can't criticize Donald Trump at all because your criticisms are hurting our feelings, and your criticisms, your valid criticisms of the fucking person running for president is actually leading to violence. They were doing words or violence, but not directed at like dehumanizing entire swaths of the population. They were doing words or violence and directing that rhetoric towards like singular individuals with unimaginable amounts of power. Are you gay? You look the gayest man I've ever seen gay, dude. You suck, sucker, sucky as suck, fuck it, sucker, yuck, ugly sucker, you clown. Are you propositioning me? Do you want me to fuck your ass? Is that what it is? Why are you fantasizing about this? Weirdo.
Good morning, John. What did he say?
Good morning, Rob. And I spoke to President Trump shortly after he learned that Charlie Kirk had died. I have to say, he sounded truly shaken. Kirk had a profoundly personal connection with President Trump and with his family. And he was a singular figure in the MAGA movement. He was beloved by young conservatives, clearly, but his influence went far beyond that. He was, in fact, one of the very few people you could point to and plausibly say made Donald Trump's election victory in 2024 possible. And in our deeply divided time, he was one of the few prominent political figures on either side of the aisle who regularly engaged with people who he disagreed with. Now, Robin, he is a martyr, and I suspect that his influence may be even greater.
So what kind of a reaction are you seeing in the political world right now, John?
Well, within Trump's movement, there is sadness and mourning, clearly, over the loss of a friend. And there is also understandable rage over his murder. Key figures in the MAGA movement are demanding retribution, and they are declaring point blank that this is war. I fear that we are at a perilous moment in this country where too many people are seeing violence as legitimate.
I'm going to be honest. I really hope that they just like go back to the burger side of gun burger, you know, hopefully. That's my hope. My hope is that, you know, Republicans love whipping themselves up into a frenzy with regular frequency, but eventually there will be like, you know, $5 off jalapeno poppers deal or something that they'll actually entertain themselves with, and they'll just like forget, and we'll hopefully move on. The problem, of course, is that this is very beneficial for the Trump administration. They're going to use this as a way to advance their anti-left agenda, as a way to like, you know, silence any sort of political dissent. And I suspect that that's where we're headed towards. You know, they already are. What is this? President Trump has signed an executive order directing War Secretary Pete Hegseth to create a standing National Guard Quick Reaction Force, a domestic military unit trained, resourced, and ready for rapid nationwide deployment to support law enforcement and quelling civil disturbances. Oh, brother. Under the order, Hegseth must designate Guard members in every state, ensure they're trained and equipped, and make them available for mobilization at the president's direction. This is from a week. Wait, really? This is from a week ago? Investigative reporter Radley Balco warned on Democracy Now! That Trump has long sought a loyal paramilitary force to crush dissent, calling the order a dangerous erosion of the line between the military and civilian policing. If the courts block the plan, Balco cautioned, Trump could expand ICE and Border Patrol into a de facto domestic army. I mean, he already is. Agencies are already flush with new congressional funding and less constrained by constitutional limits. Since Ever since Charlie's assassination, do you think yourself being more cautious in the future? Do you think it would be smarter to give it a few years before you make any public appearances? What? A few years? The fuck? That's a very sus-ass take.
Just think about what we've been through over the past year. The 2 assassination attempts on Trump, the murder of the Democratic leader in Minnesota, the firebombing of Governor Josh Shapiro's home, the shooting that we just saw at the CDC. This is truly a frightening time, Robin.
Yeah, that's what George was saying as we started the broadcast this morning, sharing those sentiments. All right, John, thank you.
As well as I did. He was a unique man. But
We hope we get him. President Trump discusses the manhunt. FBI hunt for Charlie Kirk's killer is continuing. Dude, the incompetence demonstrated by the FBI is pretty crazy, though, actually.
And this is how it looks.
Sheriff Department, police force, SWAT team, they were all over.
FBI investigators examined the scene of an assassination as they hunted Charlie Kirk's killer, starting with the roof where the fatal shot was fired. They issued 2 images of what they called a person of interest, a man of university age in baseball cap and shades, wearing a jumper bearing what appears to be the American flag and eagle.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
It was a shocking murder on a university campus that woke up a crime scene with a sense of unreality at what happened here. In place of classes was a press conference about the murder in their midst. Can you talk to us about their movements, their demeanor?
Suspect blended in well with a college institution. That individual appears to be.
If the FBI thought that the bullets were engraved with pro-trans, or the ATF guy who looked at this and said the bullets were engraved with pro-trans messaging because of TRN, a common brand stand for bullets from some manufacturers, and they thought it meant trans rights now, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind, dude. Aren't these guys the gun perverts? I mean, there's no way an ATF agent doesn't know a common fucking brand stamp for bullets, right? Anyway, the caliber is not the same, but it doesn't matter. They have already dialed back the statement about the inscriptions on the bullet, by the way. So investigators are eye a hunting rifle for clues of the gunman's identity and the motive. A preliminary unverified report circulated inside the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives found that ammunition recovered with the rifle used to kill Charlie Kirk appears in grave statements expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. A senior law enforcement official with direct knowledge of the investigation cautioned that the report had not been verified by ATF analysts, did not match other summaries of evidence, and might turn out to have been misread or misinterpreted. In fast-moving investigations, TRN is Turan, right? New Turkish Turan ammunition for 2020. Turan is TRN, typically Turkish 9mm round casings. Yes, Turkey mentioned, albeit not in the best circumstances. Where the fuck was I? What was I looking at? What was I looking at? Oh, the FBI Salt Lake City. We don't even know, by the way, we don't even know if this is the guy anymore. Hasan, your boy is getting so fired. Me when I have no suspect after 24 hours. Dude, I know. He is, I mean, he is so cooked. You were looking at an article on a non-Twitter website. Oh, you mean the New York Times? Thank you. I mean, he already is like the least credible person just on optics alone. No pun intended. But he has been so unimaginably incompetent in his communications throughout this process. Like, it would have been better for him to not say anything for the past 48 hours than to say the things that he had. Oh, we apprehended him. Oh, we got him. Nip, never mind. We didn't get him. It was somebody else. Saying subject instead of suspect is funny to me. Anyway, an older Mauser 36 caliber high-powered bolt-action rifle was recovered in a wooded area just off the college campus in Utah where Mr. Kirk was shot, according to 5 federal law enforcement officials. Several cartridges, including what appeared to be a spent round in the rifle's chamber, were recovered. The weapon and ammunition are being traced by ATF analysts in West Virginia, but the evidence has not yet led to a person of interest, the law enforcement officials said. On Thursday morning, investigators in Utah expressed confidence that a combination of forensic evidence from the scene and video from the university and nearby homes would soon allow them to determine the gunman's identity. By the afternoon, the FBI had posted an image of the person the Bureau is seeking. The person was captured on security cameras on a flight of stairs and was wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap. The image was somewhat blurry. The FBI's request for help suggested that the image of a person was not clear enough to create a quick match via facial recognition software. A news conference of the FBI and Utah police officials was just canceled about 20 minutes after it had been scheduled because of rapid developments in the investigation. That obviously was 4 hours ago. What is the newest update here? Yeah, there's fear and vitriol intensifying in Congress. The European Parliament declined to hold a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Police clarified the photographs that they released earlier on Thursday showing a person wanted for questioning in connection with the shooting wearing a cap and sunglasses were taken by a security camera shortly before the shooting took place on Wednesday. The police have received more than 200 tips so far, and they say that they are investigating multiple leads, but the killer remains on the loose more than a day after the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. As the manhunt stretches on, it is relatively quiet here in the neighborhood surrounding Utah Valley University, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. One street in Orem remains blocked by police officers, and some parts of the campus are cordoned off by crime scene tape. But residents say they had seen law enforcement activity here dwindle after a lengthy search of the area yesterday. They're asking Grok for help. Oh my God. No. He's clearly in disguise as a... Okay, this is a meme, chatter. Shut the fuck up. He's clearly in disguise as a patriot. Wait, what? What? Oh, he's joking about this guy who's not joking. AI suggested this is what he really looks like. Lusty libertine of the masculine persuasion. Opinions are my own. What? Attempted to enhance and polish a grainy image of the person of interest in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Grok has somehow turned the man into someone who looks more like the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro here, with a secret third hand. More right-wing clanker psychosis on the shooter. They're not going to catch anyone at this point. Thank God for AI. It could be any of these fake people. Much better view of his face. How is that a better view of his face? That's not... What are you doing? Sharpened a little. Had AI clean it, and this is what I get. That's... Gemini cleaning up the pixels. Bro, I'm serious. We are so cooked because Kash Patel is exactly the kind of dipshit who I feel like would do this, who would get duped by this. Okay? I could totally see that. They're transvestigating. Oh my God. What an incredible moment in time. Old enough to remember the ineptitude of Reddit detectives misidentifying the Boston bomber. Now we have AI guys transvestigating suspects by using Gemini to enhance the image, thereby making a ton of new fake photos. Just incredible stuff. Based on the body shape, hand size, jawline, and apparent lack of prominent Adam's apple, you might be looking at a biological female either transitioning into male or disguised as a male. And then this guy turns around and says, women can't shoot like that. That's the other thing. That was definitely a part of the, bro. A part of the problem was like, a lot of people immediately were like, oh yeah, this guy's a real good shot. Like this is a professional operation. So in their minds, this like kind of eliminated the shooter being trans from the equation because they were like, trans people can't shoot like that. I saw that so many times. I saw that so many times online, just people being like, ain't no way someone who's trans could shoot like that.
Of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual.
Investigators have gathered a palm print, a forearm imprint, and a footwear impression. This is also key. The escape route taken by the assassin being examined by agents of the FBI. This is where the gunman ran over this road towards this woodland. And in amongst those trees, a high-powered bolt-action rifle was discarded and recovered. Attending a 9/11 memorial, President Trump announced he would honor his old friend formally.
I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd.
Charlie Kirk was a significant player in the Republican movement.
My name is Charlie Kirk.
In Utah, arrangements were made to fly his casket home to Arizona aboard Air Force Two. Vice President J.D. Vance flew to Utah to make a last journey with his political soulmate. Overnight at the hospital where they tried but failed to save Charlie Kirk, members of the public paid tribute, some who'd witnessed the horror.
I was doing okay. And then I was putting my 5-year-old to bed, and she had me read her story about love. I just couldn't finish the story. I was thinking about Charlie's little girls, his wife. He was such a powerful human being.
The FBI has issued a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to an arrest. It is a bounty of some size and a manhunt of some significance. James Matthews, Sky News, in Orem, Utah.
Ne diyorsun baba? Ne? Hayır.
This morning, the murder of Charlie Kirk is heightening concern about the rise in cases of political violence across the country.
Our nation is broken. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Charlie Kirk's a character.
Dude, I saw so many videos on Twitter and also on TikTok of angry conservatives crying and screaming bloody murder, saying that they are going to enact the revenge of the most epic proportions that no one has ever seen before. And once again, considering that, well, I mean, Trump survived, but considering that, like, in the shortly in the aftermath of Trump's assassination attempt, that people just like kind of went back to business as usual. I really do hope that this just stays to like a brief period of people doing these fake bomb threats, and then it goes away without like any sort of real vengeance quest by people who decide to take matters into their own fucking hands. I do, however, fear that the administration is not going to let this go and will absolutely use this as a reason to continue enacting a dangerous political agenda, a fascist political agenda of political persecution of dissidents.
Casualty of war.
Then candidate Trump was shot at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania last year. An audience member, firefighter Corey Comparator, was killed. Months later, a second attempt on Trump's life at his Florida golf course. The suspect is now on trial. This past June, a Minnesota state representative and her husband were shot and killed in their home. And in April, police say a man tried to kill Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, setting his home on fire.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. It is not okay. And it has to stop.
The list goes on. Then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in his home. And years earlier, Congressman Steve Scalise was shot at a congressional baseball game. This year, threats against members of Congress are surging, with nearly 14,000 compared to 9,000 during all of last year. Many are asking, is the political temperature too hot?
Whenever people say like, somebody's got to do it, like you've done the somebody's got to do it conversation, this is precisely what I'm talking about. I'm analyzing the environment and the temperature and how average normies are basically saying somebody's got to do it. And that means that like some change must take place. And if it doesn't, in the absence of some kind of change that takes place, people are going to get increasingly more violent as they take matters in their own fucking hands. Okay.
And is social media adding fuel to the fire?
A lot of it has to do, I think, with a fragmented media landscape. People can express their views on social media freely. And I think that breeds a certain amount of incivility and division.
Historian Mark Updegrove compares today's political divisions to the 1960s.
The last time we saw a political climate that was as heated and divided as we're seeing today was the 1960s, a very tumultuous, tempestuous time in our history where we saw the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, Malcolm X in 1964, and Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy in 1968. It shook this country to its very foundations. And it was a time of great change and upheaval. We saw the civil rights movement in full bloom. We saw the Vietnam War, which was wildly unpopular.
Famously, all right-wing figures that once again were assassinated by the political left, I guess. Yeah, I wonder who was responsible for half of those fucking assassinations. Yeah, he's a based conspiracy parapolitics guy. And he's saying the CIA assassinated Charlie Kirk.
These things ripped us apart as a nation. Eventually, we came out of it. But I think we saw then that political violence was not the answer to our problems.
As for the threats against Congress, more funding has been allocated to boost security. Elizabeth, Perry.
Andrea, thank you. A moment of silence for Charlie Kirk on Capitol Hill turned chaotic.
The moment of silence gave way to a shouting match.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
A Republican House member asked lawmakers to pray for Charlie Kirk. Democrats then demanded prayers for the victims of yesterday's school shooting in Colorado. One Democrat shouting, "Pass some gun laws."
Charlie Kirk, of course, for all of us who know him, who knew him, remembered for so many things today. And one of them is his staunch support of Israel. He visited in 2018. I remember. That was the first time I met him.
Dude, this is the craziest. This is the craziest eulogy yet, by the way. Didn't even see this? Eric Adams tweeted about you? No, I did see it. Dog, you literally had Sneeko on your fucking stream. He denies the Holocaust. What do you mean You can't be playing the association game. Anyway, let's continue.
It was at the U.S. Embassy after it had moved to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv. That was one of then President Trump's first term decisions. And Charlie was there also the following year, supporting Israel's war against Hamas and against the anti-Semitism that followed. Watch.
When we as Christians go to Israel, we are celebrated and treated like the most amazing you could ever imagine. Okay, Israel changed my life. When I went to Israel, I was reading Bible stories my whole life as a committed Christian. And all of a sudden, I had a life-changing experience. The nation of Israel actually has a place in God's plan for us on this planet. There's something special about Israel, and I think we have a moral commitment to that land.
Bro, I should have just shown this morning instead of debating people on whether or not he had a fucking change of heart.
Israeli community has been very welcoming of us as Christians and our faith to the homeland.
Yeah, they only spat on me like once or twice, bro. It was fucking dope. The number of spitting incidents was so limited. People greatly exaggerate how many times you get spit on. It's like twice. Barely any spit at all.
And it will not go unnoticed. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said this morning Charlie Kirk was a steadfast friend of Israel and a true ally of the Jewish people. He stood proudly for the Judeo-Christian values which bind Israel and America. And Charlie's fearless commitment to truth and freedom cost him his life. Violence may have taken him, but it cannot silence his legacy. May his memory be a blessing. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, in focus now. Prime Minister, you have your own...
It's so insane to me that this fucking war criminal took time out from his unlimited baby murder campaign to offer his condolences to motherfucking Charlie Kirk on Fox News. I'm looking at to see if... Oh, there's just mostly Israeli people saying like they look up to Charlie Kirk.
Memories of Charlie Kirk. Please share them.
Well, Harris, before I do that, I have to say that we're just heartbroken. Myself, my wife, my family, my son actually, on his 2019 visit to Israel, had lunch with him and his wife, Erica. We're shattered first as human beings because a great human being has been taken from us. Was an extraordinary friend. He said, he wrote me a letter on on May 2nd this year. He said, "One of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization." A few weeks before the tragedy yesterday, I called him and I spoke to him and I said, "Please come to Israel." I invited him to Israel. And sadly, that visit will not take place. But he was a defender of our common Judeo-Christian civilization. He was unbelievably excited to walk in the footsteps of Jesus here. He valued our bond, the bond between America and Israel. He did so many things to defend free speech. He had his truth. He stood up for it. But he said, you can come and debate me. He invited that debate.
Bro, free speech is so crazy. Saying Charlie Kirk loves free speech is crazy. One of these LARPers says something that will stick with me forever. The next American Civil War is going to have a lot of factions. Make allies where you can, brothers and sisters. Pick your trench mates now or they will be picked for you later. Tarbers. I guarantee a lot of those pronouns melt away when they're staring down the barrel of a gun. Exactly why blue-pilled normie cons will die. They'll point their guns at some gender bender or anarchist. He'll renounce his ways to get out of it, then kill them later. Why is this guy taking an L in his own like ultra-violent fantasy of civil war?
He certainly didn't invite the violence, the horrible violence that tried to silence him. And this is a worldwide problem. The people on the extremes, the Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra progressives, they often speak about human rights. They speak about free speech, but they use violence to try to take down their enemies. Whether it's President Trump, who's been almost assassinated twice, or they try to kill me here too. But they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, the young people in both our countries look to him, and I don't know what is being said with regard to that right now in Israel, but I am curious. I mean, he is a beacon for so many in his young generation. Your last quick thought.
Look, sometimes people can be irreplaceable. Charlie was 31 years old. He was a great hero of our common roots and common culture. My older brother, was 30 years old when he died trying to successfully rescuing Israeli hostages that were held by German and Arab terrorists in Entebbe, Uganda. And I often I thought about my brother all my life, and I think of Charlie. I'll be thinking of Charlie all my life. They're gone, and maybe they're once in a generation, but generations then live by their legacy.
Amen to that. Prime Minister Netanyahu, grateful for your...
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu said someone tried to assassinate him, but of course didn't reveal that the person who tried to assassinate Benjamin Netanyahu was like an 83-year-old Jewish aunt. That's not even a joke. That literally happened. An Israeli Jewish aunt who's like 80 plus years old was stopped before she could complete her assassination attempt.
Christina Coleman is back live with that. Christina. That's right, Tracy. Yeah, we're hearing that this political contributor, Matthew Dode, got fired. And unfortunately, some on the left in the media, they've made some controversial comments following Charlie Kirk's political assassination. Take a listen.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. You can imagine the administration using this as a justification for...
Bro, how does TMC get this before law enforcement, bro? This is camera footage of the suspect walking. Also, he's limping. What the fuck? You think he has the gun in his pant leg? Or is it because he jumped off of a roof? No, because this is before the shooting, chatters. They're saying this is before the shooting. He might have the gun in his, he might have like stuck the gun in his leg or something. And then this is after the shooting. This reminds me of Weapons. I can't see him here. I don't know what's going on. Wait, oh, this is it? Is that him? Is that him in the corner? No. That's not him, right? I can't tell. Oh. Wait for the vid to finish, man. Bro, chill. It was just nothing happening for like a long ass time. Calm down. Also, he's not limping no more. So obviously it probably was him like hiding the gun in his pants or something. Sky Valadez is allegedly their name. Dude, what are you talking about? We have no idea yet. Okay, that's crazy. Don't do that stuff. What are you, the FBI? What are you, the ATF and the FBI? Someone has to have a higher standard for reporting around these goddamn parts. We're not the Wall Street Journal. We're not CNN. And we're certainly not the FBI. Okay? We are not going to abide by the Kash Patel standards when it comes to accurate reporting. I'm sorry.
Something.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
Yeah, so that comment got him in some pretty big trouble.
That's crazy, by the way. Free speech, guys. Free speech. They fucking clapped the one dude who was like, hey guys, you know, he's a pretty, like, let's be serious here. He's like a controversial figure who makes a lot of inflammatory remarks. I mean, it's true. He didn't even say anything inaccurate. It's pretty crazy that is enough for... That was enough to cook this guy. They fired him.
NBC quickly addressed how inappropriate it was, writing, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dode made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise.
Guys, I know there's gait recognition software. I don't think that's the reason why his gait looked like that. Okay, especially because after the shooting, he was running. Okay, please. I know everybody wants to tell me about gait recognition software. I know that it exists, okay? No, not gait as in like the walking gait. G-A-I-T.
And tonight, President Donald Trump also called out anyone making comments demonizing.
You're slow. He said a lot that was inaccurate. Rest in peace to Charlie. And I hope they can come back but think about your choice words. Come on now. Shame on greed. You're slow, ... He said a lot that was inaccurate. He didn't say anything that was inaccurate. Everything he said was accurate. Charlie Kirk was a divisive figure, and he did use a lot of incendiary language. And also on top of that, he actually used a lot of dehumanizing language. Nothing he said was inaccurate. It just like hurts your feelings. That's the issue here. You know what's funny about this? Yeah, he didn't say Charlie deserved it or anything. No one is saying that. But what's funny about this stuff is that it basically exposes something that I find to be very interesting. The shame that Republicans feel about their worldview laid bare. Because if you just took Charlie Kirk's top moments of owning people in the marketplace of ideas and you slammed them into the New York Times obituary, a lot of right-wingers would get mad at that. They'd be like, how dare you do this? But he wasn't ashamed of those takes. He loved those takes. You don't even need to say, like, this is what Charlie Kirk said and we disagree with it. Even if you just wrote it without any editorializing whatsoever, Republicans would hate that. They want you to just say he's a father. They want you to just say he was a loving father, a loving husband, and a advocacy machine, a turnout machine. That's all they want you to say. Why don't conservatives want you to reflect on a lot of the positions that Charlie Kirk was very proud of? Perhaps it's because they too recognize that if the broader field is made aware of the output of this person, then they wouldn't feel too fondly about him. Yeah. I already covered this with the Charlie Kirk, right-wing force and close Trump ally, dies at 31. The founder of Turning Point USA played a central role in organizing young voters and giving shape to the pro-Trump agenda. He was fatally shot during a speaking event in Utah. Absolute fucking ghouls. Like, this isn't even a negative framing. If anything, this seems fairly positive obituary. They didn't even go provocateur, which they should have. What was that chatter? He was wrong?
Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color. but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies that turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our policies.
I mean, Charlie Kirk.
Hey, I'm from Germany, so thanks for complimenting on our innovation.
Guten Tag.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi.
Deutschland über alles.
No, not quite.
You don't like your country? No?
I love my country and I'm a patriot.
No.
Bro got the fucking German national to I mean, that's literally illegal to say in Germany. Chat. That's why the German responded the way that he did. Yeah, it means Germany above all, which was a Nazi slogan. Vice President carries Charlie's casket? What the oh my God, dude. We're going to get so cooked on the left, dude. I swear to God. The fanfare exhibited, like the symbolism, all the stuff. This is by design. There's a deliberate reason. Bidaka baba. I think you're muted. No, I muted myself for a second because my dad is trying to talk to me because he wants me to order food. Or rather, I ordered food already for him. But there's been an issue. What is this drone footage showing how far it was? Drone footage of UVU crime scene where Charlie Kirk was assassinated today. Footage provides an overhead breakdown showing the location of Charlie Kirk's tent, the shooter's position, and the route he took to flee after the attack. Do I think the killer not being caught yet makes the administration look bad? Yes. But do I also believe that Republicans, I think, kind of enjoy that there is no evidence so they can just make up whatever the fuck they want to? Also, yes. So I think on the one hand, yes, this is a pathetic and incompetent administration that can't even fucking figure out the assassin, who the assassin is of a beloved figure by their own estimations, not mine, right? So it certainly reflects poorly on them that they are so incompetent that they can't even figure this out with all of the surveillance they have at their disposal. But having said that, I think this yields a new opportunity for the admin. And therefore, they could just basically say the shooter is anyone and everyone that's ever hurt their feelings. That's it. So in that vein, like, they get to continue entertaining their delusions. They get to run around and posture. You showed this clip of Charlie, right? Yeah, I did.
Shows they were actually better in the 1940s.
Yeah, he said black people are better off in slavery and better off in the 1940s than they were after the civil rights movement. Another view from the Reuters drone. Reuters drone image shows reported location from which the shooter killed Charlie Kirk. Wait, what? Oh, I guess that's it. That's not a really difficult shot, I think. Okay. The difficulties of this shot is establishing a shot position that allows you to be at an elevated perspective without other people actually finding you out and reporting you to the authorities. The difficulties there are pulling the trigger on a human being, okay? Like, it's not something that you can do without having sufficient training. It's not. I don't think it's that easy. There's a reason why when you go out and like hunt deer for the first time ever, like, you get the yips. You have a hard time. Like, ending life, ending organic matter is not an easy endeavor. And it's especially difficult when it's a human being. Well, yeah, if you're perched up, I would go so far as to say the easiest version of the shot would be being perched up at a fucking at a hunting stand, okay, and then having a deer off in the same distance. But the first time you take that shot, that's still going to be difficult. The second time you take that shot, that's going to be less difficult. But it's obviously not going to be easy to take that shot if there's a human being on the other side of your scopes, okay? And it's especially difficult when all of the other pressures of the environment are are factored in to the decision making at the time, and then you are able to make a swift escape. Okay? That to me reveals that wait, hold on. That to me reveals that this person might have had some experience at least, like, because I don't think you have a situation. I don't think you have a situation where someone's like first ever kill shot on a human is a one shot, like clean one shot straight to the fucking artery, the main artery, and then you just make a swift escape. Like, that's it. He didn't even fucking shoot a couple times or anything like that. It's just crazy. That wasn't clean. That was a miss. I keep seeing the end of the clip, the end of your debate with Charlie posted on Instagram. I'm sure you know, but it's a 53-minute mark. Yeah. Yes, I debated Charlie Kirk twice, not once, but twice. And that's where the famous I live like a capitalist every day jank clip comes from. That caliber drops 4 inches at that range. Maybe he was aiming for the head. The shot went off his chest and ricocheted into his neck. He was wearing a vest, and this will be proven. That's what I heard. But that sounds pretty crazy. Because remember, it's not a joke. No, I know. Remember when I looked at the first shot from afar and I told you that like it didn't seem like he got shot in the neck at first because his t-shirt moved around? Like, that didn't actually make any sense. That didn't actually make any sense as if it was like a direct shot. And I guess I thought it was like maybe the impact, but I don't know. I don't know enough about like the only reason why I don't believe it's a vest though, because I have heard this before. The only reason why I don't believe it's a vest is because there's no armor that is that concealable under just like a straight t-shirt. I'm pretty sure it would show. Like, and an armor that is like soft padded armor that is concealable under a shirt would probably not ricochet a bullet like that. At most, it would probably soften the impact. Nah, he would have had ceramic which shatters. So I don't understand why. Like, I don't think armor ricochets a bullet, right? Doesn't Kevlar and ceramic they just soften the impact basically. They just like eat the bullet. It doesn't like it doesn't end up ricocheting it, right? I always thought that it just like gets lodged in. The entry to the neck was very clean too. I don't think it was a bounce. If that's possible. Kevlar is a shock absorber. Yeah. Obviously, if armor was to deflect the impact instead of absorbing it, no one would use it. Because I feel like it would. I'm not a ballistics expert. I'm not an armor expert. But I'm simply stating that if a bullet were to immediately deflect off of an armor, I feel like it would be ill-advised to use in the field of battle or ever, as a matter of fact, because of what technically, if that was the case, happened to Charlie Kirk. Steel does at glazing angles, but most armor has aramid layers that can catch it sometimes. You need steel or ceramic. But I watched a lot of GunTube. You are right. It would make a huge bulge on the armor if it was ceramic. It's the same thing, but ceramic is really thick. Yeah. It's called spaling, which is an issue with steel plates. It's an issue that fragments go into your neck. Oh, so you think he got shot in the vest, and then the vest actually ricocheted directly into his neck, and the neck wound that you see is actually a consequence of the ricochet potentially. Mapping the Charlie Kirk assassination? What the fuck is Hoog?
Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Charlie Kirk speaks.
That's crazy, bro. This dude's body hasn't even been buried yet, and there's already a fucking 9-minute YouTube video.
At an event in Orem, Utah. It is at the Sorensen Center courtyard on the campus of Utah Valley University. The event, part of his American Comeback Tour, features his signature Prove Me Wrong debate format. Kirk is positioned at a table beneath a large tent. Students come up and have a chance to ask him a question and debate with him. Approximately 20 minutes into his presentation, an audience member identified as a student questions him about mass shootings.
Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Kirk asks a question, but then it gets interrupted.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Oh my God. Go, run.
When Charlie is 18 years old, he speaks at a college. He just seems like any other young American conservative. But at that college, he catches someone's eye. Will Montgomery sees that Charlie gets attention. While other conservative speakers are boring, young people listen to Charlie Kirk. A month later, in September 2012, he and the 18-year-old launched Turning Point USA.
Well, Turning Point USA
So before he did that, the OG is that he didn't, before he even got invited as a speaker, real ones know, real Charlie heads know, his starting point is actually writing an article for his high school newspaper about how potentially a black woman took his slot at West Point Academy. Okay? This is an admonishment of just a straight rejection of DEI before it became known as DEI, but like affirmative, what am I saying? Affirmative action, right? He attacks affirmative action in a hypothetical racialized grievance. Okay? He wrote that when he was 18 years old. And of course, he had no proof for this, but it didn't matter. And Breitbart took that and posted it. And then as soon as Breitbart posted it, he became a conservative fixture. Like very quickly, he was plucked out and he became one of those like young conservatives, you know, because they were like, oh, he's just the kind of racist that we need, but he's also young. Important context, before that, there really weren't any young conservatives. No, that's not true. There's always been young conservatives. Breitbart, for the record, is an outlet that is like super far right. Andrew Breitbart's operation. But I mention this because it just shows you how easy it is to become like a known figure and what it takes for someone to be plucked up as a commentary person.
But what we're trying to do is we're going into the high schools and the colleges to challenge these textbooks that publish flat out falsehoods and fallacies.
It's a nonprofit organization established to promote conservative values, specifically among young Americans through high school and college.
Also, bro, look at the young people after. Oh my God, Tom McDonald made a Rest in Peace Charlie music video. That's crazy. That's disrespectful. That's more disrespectful than anything any like leftist could ever say about Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. Tom McDonald making a music video post-mortem to honor you is unironically the most disrespectful thing you can do to any human being.
College campuses.
I'm only 19 years old. I'm fighting this fight every single day. I get to go to college campuses, high schools. I debate professors. I debate socialists.
It's not an immediate success, but Turning Point steadily grows into something larger than Charlie.
We'll probably recruit 4,000 to 5,000 new students, collect their data. It's a high energy conference for us.
Yeah. So when Turning Point USA, play it, bro, please. No, I'm not going to play Tom McDonald. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want you guys to die out of cringe, maximum cringe. When Turning Point first comes into the fold, Charlie Kirk goes to Foster Freeze. His dad knows him, I think, through construction work, and Foster Freeze is a major conservative donor, right? So he gets audience with Foster Freeze, and he pitches to him an idea. This idea is, you know how they have super PACs that manipulate elections? I want to create a super PAC fund to manipulate student government body elections, both in high school and also in college. Okay? He says these are breeding grounds for left-wing radicalism. High schools and college campuses are breeding grounds for socialism and many different woke ideology that is an ever-present danger. The next generation is becoming too fucking right-wing. And that's how it starts. And for the longest time, it is an abject failure, okay?
It's a way to reward our best members that have been...
They organize speeches with ever bigger conservative American thinkers. The young Charlie Kirk quickly becomes a fixture of the American political conservative landscape.
I started an organization, Turning Point USA, 2.5 years ago, around two key values: free markets and limited government.
In 2016, he speaks at the Republican National Convention. When Trump secures the Republican nomination, he and Turning Point embrace the MAGA movement. Charlie Kirk gets a direct line to the president.
Yeah, in 2015, he was anti-Trump. 2016, he very quickly, once Trump wins the primaries, he's like, I'm pro-Trump all the way.
At the same time.
But again, at this point, he's not drawing crowds, okay? At most, it's like YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, right? Like, at most, it's like it is yet another young college Republican advocacy group. It obviously has a lot of moneyed interest involved. It has a lot of donors involved from right-wing alumnus. But having said that, it's not actually making significant impact amongst the youth. And it's more so just like an operation to get money from farm money from wealthy Republican old donors, and basically lie to them that you're making an impact among the youth.
He begins using modern media outlets as a way to spread his political message, but they're also a means for generating content that gets attention. He gets millions of views, in large part fueled by debates on college campuses. In 2018 comes Campus Clash, a college tour with Candace Owens. In 2024, the You're Being Brainwashed tour, a college tour with former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. On September 10th, 2025, Kirk initiates the...
Like, the big jump off here goes from... Like, what gained Charlie Kirk like a real young audience? Because I remember covering this stuff back in the day. There was a demographic profile of like his marketing initiatives. I don't know if I can actually find it, but There was a demographic profile of like who Charlie Kirk was targeting on Facebook with Turning Point USA. And I remember laughing about it because it was all like 50 plus, 60 plus year olds that they were farming ads out to. So like their entire audience was comprised of like old people. So it was just old people giving Charlie Kirk money with the hopes that they were actually reaching out to a younger audience, but only reaching out to an older audience that just wanted to see a young person say these things. But something changed with the TikTok meta. This is something that I do admit. A lot of people don't realize that like TikTok elevated Charlie Kirk to a real audience. TikTok put him in front of real human beings and real young people. And it worked so perfectly alongside the Trump movement the second time around. Okay? That's when he actually started seeing like mass audiences show up to these events that he was putting together. And it wasn't just like the Trump Republicans at college.
American Comeback Tour, a series of events for college students across the United States. The format includes his classic Prove Me Wrong table sessions, where he invites attendees to debate his political and cultural viewpoints in a public setting. The event at Utah Valley University is designated as the first stop on this tour. Eyewitness accounts describe hearing a loud bang.
Are they like restricting you guys up here or what?
Nah, it's too crowded.
It's just there's just so much.
Before we had a flag and we had it so it was positioned above the tent so it would be in the camera and made us move.
What was that? Oh my God! He just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Immediately following the sound,
he doesn't
Charlie
actually
Kirk's
show,
head
right?
Jerks backwards. A significant volume of blood gushes from his neck. Although an autopsy is yet to be released, speculations state he is hit partially in his jugular and spine. Phone footage shows that audience members react to the noise instinctively, collectively looking to the right and then crouching down. People scatter in multiple directions.
Yeah, in 2016, Charlie Kirk was used to convince old Republicans they had the support of the youth when they were with Bernie. In 2024, liberal Gen Z people are used to convince old people that they, Dems, have the support of the youth when they are with Charlie Kirk. How the turntables? That is exactly right. And that is the reason why I was thinking about, how Turning Point USA initially was just an abject failure. And the comparison was with the modern version of exactly that. Also, anyway, let's continue.
His security personnel and multiple police officers cover him and try to bring him away to surrounding vehicles as soon as possible. Through phone recordings later released on Twitter, a figure is identified on the roof of the Losey Center.
So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying.
A building located approximately 200 yards or 180 meters from Kirk's position. It seems the shooter is lying in a prone position, shooting down with a clear view of his target. This individual is observed both prior to and following the shot, and is seen retreating from the rooftop. Based on these videos, the shooter is placed at a more accurate guesstimation of 100 to 120 meters from where Kirk is sitting. Presumably, the shooter escapes over the roof of the building after taking the shot. Charlie Kirk is carried to a police vehicle parked just behind the tent where he is speaking from. He's then transported to the local Timpanogos Regional Hospital. Initial reports indicate his condition is critical. Utah Valley University spokeswoman Ellen Trainor states that a suspect is in custody and it's not a student.
Dare you! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you!
Political figures begin to issue statements. President Donald Trump posts on Truth Social, calling for prayers for Charlie Kirk. Vice President J.D. Vance also expresses calls for prayer. Utah Governor Spencer Cox condemns the violence, as does California Governor Gavin Newsom and many other prominent political figures. At 2:26 MDT, FBI Director Kash Patel also announces on social media that a suspect in the shooting is in custody.
Now, we have a person of interest in custody.
But only a couple of hours later, all statements are retracted. Cox clarifies that George Zinn, the individual initially detained, is not the assassin, but has been charged with obstruction of justice. A second suspect is also...
They found the identity of the shooter just now? I don't think they did yet. Chibi Reviews tweeted about you 25 minutes ago. Please check it out. This guy is spreading lies and hate throughout his audience.
arrested, but later released. As of right now, the authorities state their investigation continues. At around 2:40 MDT, Charlie Kirk's death is finally confirmed. President Donald Trump announces it on Truth Social. He is survived by his wife, daughter, and son.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah.
The cause of death is confirmed as a gunshot wound to the neck. No further suspects have been taken into custody as of September 11th at the time of this upload. President Trump orders all American flags to be lowered to half-staff.
Breaking police have not, this is AZ Intel. Breaking police have not yet identified the person in the interest in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Utah Valley University officials told KUTV Thursday, denying a CBS News report that federal authorities had obtained a name. What the fuck, man? My friend's mom was talking to his mom while all this was happening. She told her that he had been dead for an hour prior to Trump stating it. What? Why would your friend's mom know that? I just, the mom network is real. Okay, look, I suspected that he was dead as soon as I saw what his neck was doing, but the time of the confirmation doesn't really matter. What is happening with this? What is going on here? Why is it that the all of the federal law enforcement arms are just like, all of the federal law enforcement arms are just like demonstrating how unimaginably incompetent they are
across the country until Sunday evening as a mark of respect. We are reminded again of how real the present danger of political shootings is in the United States.
It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
For us, on the outside, looking in from Europe, it's a brutal reminder of how politically heated things are in the country across the ocean. This video wasn't a walk in the park. It took us less than a day after the shooting happened.
I can't believe they were able to put this together in such a short period of time. But it turns out like maybe woke is not so bad. It turns out that woke is perhaps good, because just like I take back my previous speculation and watch the video I was thinking of for the first time, and I'm definitely wrong. Sorry for contributing to the misinfo hell. I'm a stupid fuck and accept that. No, it's all good, M. HUD. Shooter most likely understands that federal government tracks people and was able to evade leaving traces and probably has left not much for them to find. I just don't. I don't. In this day and age, a high profile shooting such as this one is supposed to immediately yield results. But of course, this was another thing as well. Law enforcement have absolutely no control over the crime scene, incompetent. They should all be fired. Dude, after the shooting takes place, literally walks up to the scene of the crime. Now, obviously, like, this person is not, you know, he's just taking the hats and he's just throwing it to people and it's whatever. But like, that is fucking crazy that you could just walk up to the scene of the crime after it had taken place. TMZ claiming they have footage of the suspect walking to the campus. Yes, I already covered it. Yes, I did. Here, he's got a weird limp here as well. TMZ obtained chilling video that shows a man dressed in all black matching the description of the FBI's person of interest hobbling down a residential street in Wednesday in Orem, Utah at 11:49 a.m., heading towards the Utah Valley University campus a couple blocks away. There was another guy who did that, by the way. This dude, Elder TikTok, stole all the blood-soaked Charlie Kirk merch to sell on eBay and left his fingerprints all over an active crime scene. As soon as he finished recording his selfie vid, new fave shooting deep event character. Yeah, I can't lie. I think Elder TikTok is a goated style individual. Truly one of the best and brightest that we have. As you guys probably saw this video, I showed it yesterday, but it bears watching again because it's just like, it's peak 2025. He is, I mean, let's take a look.
It's your boy Elder TikTok. There was just a gunshot at Charlie Kirk. We're in Utah. There's a gunfire. This is not a joke. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. It's your boy Elder TikTok. There was just a gunfire in Utah. This is not a drill. There is a gunfire in Utah. Shots fired here in Utah. This is not a joke. Charlie Kirk, Elder TikTok, Mormon Central, Utah. There was a gun that just fired off here at Charlie Kirk. I am not playing with y'all. Hey, make sure you go to church on Sunday. Read the Book of Mormon. This is not a drill.
Make sure you go to church on Sunday and read the Book of Mormon. In between promoting his TikTok, on his TikTok that he uploaded to TikTok in the immediate aftermath of a shooting. No indication that the shooting is done. Okay? No fucking self-restraint, no self-preservation, just all vibes all the way down.
Hey, Jesus is Lord. Jesus will protect you. Jesus is your savior, bro.
That's probably why, because Jesus is our Lord and Savior and our ultimate protector. So, you know.
I'm not even lying. Make sure you subscribe to Elder TikTok on Instagram. It's your.
And then he hits the fucking peace sign at the end too, which is crazy. So he deleted this TikTok after people yelled at him, which again, they just don't understand pure cinema and real art. This guy, he's like Sakamoto Days, one of the assassins on Sakamoto Days that always has a camera on him in like one of the last episodes that just came out. That's who this guy reminds me of. He's just always filming shit. Okay? He's got a real talent, real eye for mise en scene. Now, he turns around and he apologizes. Okay? And his apology is even fucking funnier. Because his apology is, I'm going to become a better content creator. I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry. I'm going to become a better content creator. That's what he said. Okay? But of course, that didn't stop him from getting a devious lick in. Once again, going in to get all the blood-soaked Charlie Kirk merch to sell on eBay, while simultaneously leaving his fingerprints all over this active crime scene. Not
okay,
that
update, guys.
Oh, this is another one. This is another one that I saw, which is also insane. But this is the libbed up version. Okay, so Elder TikTok is the goated Mormon boy, right? I don't know if this guy's a Mormon as well, but he's definitely a liberal. I watched this video as well. Gen Z is not all right. Okay. Remember when I told you, like, this is a fucking Charlie Kirk event? Like, there's gonna be hella dudes with their phones waiting to film. Let's watch this guy.
Used to be a shooter. This is wonderful. I feel safe.
Everyone go! This way! This way! Get going, please! Everyone go! Go this way! This way! This way, quick!
Sorry, but I stopped recording to lock in and help people get off the ground to safety and went around with medical supplies to make sure everyone was safe.
That was crazy. Everyone good? Everyone good?
Bro, I'm being honest, like, this has to be a byproduct of just like being the generation that has seen so many school shootings, right? Like, that's it, right? 46 just this year. And you're just like, yeah, well, you know, there's another school shooting. Like, time to fucking film myself. Like, what the fuck? This is, I mean, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Oh, that was a fun transition.
He's doing like epic bacon voice too. Like, he has like, for some weird reason, he's doing like faillennial voice as well.
So due to the fact that there was a pistol being shot off after evacuating people, I'm going to leave. These guys aren't, I guess. That's weird. Anyway, Second Amendment, yay, whoa. Okay, I just heard from some passerby that he got shot in the neck. Yikes. Baby's first mass shooting. Yay. We need gun reform. What's up, guys? I'm currently making my way out of UVU. I just had to make sure everybody was getting out of the fire exit, and dropped off a few families to other parts in the parking lot. But long story short, right after a certain comment was made about firearms by Mr. Charlie Kirk, someone in the audience took it upon themselves to shoot him in the neck, and I was there.
Like, I know this motherfucker's Gen Z, but why is he giving faillennial? Why is that? Is it because he watched too many faillennial YouTubers or something and he just kind of got stuck there vibes-wise? Like, because you dipshits passed that shit down? I don't sound like that motherfucker, and I am that generation. Trauma response? Why the fuck would trauma response make you sound like Tobuscus? What do you mean, trauma response? Yeah, my trauma response, I sound like, what's his name? Shane Dawson. Who's going to tell Hasan? Wait, I do sound like that? Yeah, I got epic bacon voice, actually.
We need gun reform. But yeah, I'm good. Just making sure. I know a lot of you knew that I was here, so confirmation. I am alive. I knew a few other people here, and I'm just double checking with them that they're good. I didn't hear any other shots go off after the initial one, so I think the shooter was specifically targeting Charlie and no one else. So I'm good. I think everyone else there is good. I made sure like 99% of the people were out. There were some people like still hanging around the area for some freaking reason. I don't know. But I made sure everybody else was out. Oh shoot. Yeah, I think we're good. But yeah, I'm good. We're good. No one's wounded. We're chilling. And yeah.
After making it home and after quite a few calls, I'm chilling. I just edited the clips that I took while I was in there. you know what's weird about this? This is my first time, I mean, being in a shooting, I guess. I think what shocked me even...
We watched your buddy pretend to cry yesterday and he got pissed at us. Wait, what? Who was my buddy? Alex Jones?
More than the shooting itself, which is going to sound terrible, were the people who
I think they mean Dean. I haven't even seen Dean's video. Oh, they mean Parker.
After some of the things he said. And a big chunk of those people...
How do we know who Tobuskis is? Bro, he's literally issued a death threat against me. Any motherfucker that has, like, at a certain point, hit that right-wing pivot when their career falls apart, that's the same guy, right? He's, like, right-wing now, no? Isn't that the guy? Yeah. This is the guy. Yeah, he went right-wing. And then when he went right-wing, he, like... since he went right wing, he's been talking big shit. Yeah, look, see? You know what's funny? I wonder. Yep, that's it. That's him. I wonder if. Hold on. I wonder if he's like talking about toning down the political violence recently. Never mind. He's just been posting crazy shit. He's just been posting like an insane person. Is everything AI? What's the catch? Let's go for a walk. Bless your face to find out. Be good. There's some weird stuff going on. I love you. So confused today by this stuff. Okay, never mind. We're fine. What? He is right wing? Motherfucker, that was my literal idol as a very weird child. This makes me want to throw up. Hasan, he was a huge YouTuber. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I only know about him like this. This is how I know about him. As a guy who was like, Hasan Piker, I'm coming to kill you.
Were LDS. And they were cheering. Not after he got shot, but he would say a one-liner about how like sorry,
Okay, I don't know where this video goes. What is this? Dean's video is wild. Dean Withers talking about Charlie Kirk is so crazy. I think it's crazy that he's like talking about some serious shit and he's like crying, and then there's a join my fan club sticker on his head. But I guess like that's just TikTok, right? Like that is just a crazy look. You know what I mean? Fake. He changed after he got negative feedback. What do you mean? Who changed? Who got negative feedback? I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about. He could have turned it off and he didn't. It'd be like you doing what you do as a VTuber. What's with all the animations going on in the video? How am I supposed to take him seriously? Yeah, it's a TikTok live, man. Dean got negative feedback and posted a follow-up to his stream. I mean, like I said, I understand why people like... I understand why people like Dean or Parker, especially Parker who was there. POC Twitter and POC Talk are just pissed at liberal debate bros because they've only used POC struggles as a talking point against people like Charlie just to turn around and shed more tears for Charlie against centrist clicks and MSM Night Live invitation. Sean the Black was right again, Hasan. I don't know if it's as cynical. It might be. But I suspect it's because like you fucking saw they saw a dude that they know that they've been around getting shot. For real though, on Insta, like 40,000 libs defending Dean. I do understand why people would be frustrated at any any empathy being shown to someone like Charlie Kirk, because like Charlie Kirk's entire output, like his entire political output, is just straight up dehumanizing black people, brown people, gay people, trans people. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the whole thing that he's done. So when you see somebody who you thought was like defending you and defending your rights, defending your humanity, right? All of a sudden shed some real ass tears. It probably pisses people off, where they think like, this is not just a talking point for us. This is our lives, right? Having said that, however, like I said, he's a young dude who just saw a guy who he was like following around the country trying to debate him get fucking shredded, you know? And that probably is traumatizing. I mean, it was traumatizing for me too. You know? He's a commentator himself. He does these like public things himself. It's like seeing your worst fear in real time materialize in front of your eyes. You're on his dick so hard. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm riding his dick. I'm just giving you my reaction to the initial video that I watched was also fairly traumatic. And as you guys know, I see this kind of stuff from Gaza all the time. Dean's biggest problem is that he still hasn't addressed Charlie's role in the creation of this climate. It's only been tears and no analysis, and not being marginalized is frustrating for a lot of people. But I also think he's allowed to be sad. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I don't know his commentary at all. But I do agree, if he hasn't like talked about Charlie Kirk's pervasive and negative influence, you know, then that's a whole different story. You're on his dick so hard, describing Hasan in a nutshell as a top. Great way to join. Yeah, when you watched the close-up, it made it obvious it was traumatizing for you. The vid was shocking. I'm sure live was worse. I mean, he wasn't there live, but his friend was. Parker was. So I get why he'd be crying and shit. You know? I mean, if you're in an active shooting situation where you watched a dude that you have debated that kind of does the same thing that you do, it makes sense. What is this? There was a tweet about your reaction. Y'all need to chill. It's very much okay for us not to be upset and nervous about the shootings. A political commentator that came up with him on the opposite side is terrifying. Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of death threats, you know. That was... I don't know if people were mad about my reaction, but I'm not even aware of these things. They're mad because he's a man and mentioning cry. No, I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case. I think people understandably, especially if people are like black, brown, undocumented, trans, like they see this stuff. They see this stuff and they go, what the fuck is this? They see this stuff and they go, oh, you're not like, in that heated moment, I think they just assume that this person has like more empathy for a peer, a counterpart, than they do for like all the people that they're supposedly speaking for. Friend of the show, Vanilla, had a great take about Charlie. Ooh, let's see.
I'm gonna get on here and make a video about this, but y'all done pissed me off in my Instagram requests. I basically reposted something on Instagram on my story saying that Charlie's death cannot be separated from the systems that he spent his entire career platforming and trying to, you know, promote. And yes, before you ask, every single person who messaged me something like that, along the lines of being like, fuck you, Vanilla, what the fuck, they were, you guessed it, white! And they also all had profile pictures of them and their fucking mid-ass husbands standing on a beach that looked exactly like this. But that's beside the point, because then if I was like, hey, there's children in Palestine that are getting killed every day, they're like this. And then I'm like, hey, so what about all the school shootings and everything?
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. This is it. This is it. Our foreign policy is incredibly violent. Our domestic affairs are incredibly violent. Like, you know, it's crazy. A lot of these people exist in this incredibly violent environment, and they just have no fucking real tears or no real reaction or no real demand to stop this kind of bloodshed from taking place. Okay. And they just want to use this situation. It almost feels like they want to use the situation to be like, why aren't you responding the way I want you to respond to this? You know? What the fuck, CNN? That was posted a highlight of my reaction? That's crazy. I struggle with leftists who wouldn't take the time to think about why watching a video of a dude getting shot in the neck would make someone cry. Of course, I understand that split-second reaction from folks in marginalized communities, and it's still like, damn. So can we not have empathy for his wife and kids who will never get to see their father again? Wait, what are you fucking talking about? Did I say that? Am I saying any of those things? No, you're imagining things that I'm not saying. Calm the fuck down, man. Here's the thing, okay? A lot of people are demanding that you grieve, okay? A lot of people are demanding that you grieve for a person who absolutely, and we don't have to engage in hypotheticals, a person that has not grieved for people like yourself and has actually used every single opportunity to continue advancing a very violent agenda. Okay? I think that is a little unacceptable. If you are to say political violence is completely unacceptable in a civilized society, it should not happen, I'm with you. That's my take as well. I think it's fucking ridiculous. I too was traumatized by the footage of a person that I've known for many years, a person that I've debated on multiple occasions, and a person that was supposed to debate. Having said that, however, I think a lot of people just turn around and go, no, it's not enough that you said political violence is unacceptable. It's not enough that you said, it's unacceptable that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, right? I want you to fucking cry real tears for me right now. And that demand, I think, requires someone to cynically lean into whatever your ascribed notions of humanity are. Like, what do you mean? People react to it differently. Okay? That's it. Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird fucking thing where people just come up to you and they're like, you have to. It reminds me of how Democrats would be like, it's not enough that you voted for Joe Biden. You have to actually be excited to vote for Joe Biden. You weren't sufficiently excited to vote for Joe Biden, so you're still a fucking fake. You're a phony. You're not with the cause. And it's like, The fuck do you want, man? You just want me to lie? Like, I don't get it. You want me to engage in performative grief? Like, this is so fucking strange. It's such a strange demand that you're making. That's what it feels like right now. The environment is like, the environment is like demanding that there is performative grief. And if you don't demonstrate sufficient grief, and I've seen it online, okay, I've seen people clip my not immediate reaction, but like subsequent statements that I've made after. And people are just like clipping them to be like, see, he's making fun of Alex Jones. He's not sufficiently saddened by the atrocities that unfolded. And it's like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, where are we at? Where the fuck are we at? She ate y'all right on up. Stop trying to shame people for not mourning Charlie Kirk. He wasn't just a conservative we disagree with. He was a fascist organizer who built his career spreading racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and anti-immigrant hate, actively harming marginalized communities every single day. If you're compelled to send his family condolences, fine, that's your personal choice, but don't turn around and scold others for refusing to shed tears over a man who dedicated his life to dehumanizing and endangering them. This doesn't make you a better person. And if you're a Christian, it doesn't make you closer to going to heaven. It just shows you don't stand for anything. Where were your sympathy posts for the 1,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza? Deaths Charlie Kirk celebrated and justified. Where's your compassion for the immigrants torn from their families by ICE, an institution Kirk defended? Where's your energy for the trans kids, the Muslims, the black and brown communities he spent his career attacking? Empathy is not owed to oppressors. Mourning is not mandatory. Pretending that civility in the face of fascism makes you morally superior is nothing but cowardice. Y'all give me a headache. And that's the other side of this is like, I know for a fact, maybe not Charlie Kirk, because he likes to keep up appearances to a certain degree, but the overwhelming majority of the conservative and even liberal infrastructure would be fucking popping champagne openly if I was in the crosshairs instead of Charlie. The very same people that wrote these glowing obituaries talking about how he was an incredible organizer, was an incredible activist, not reflecting on his output overall, not reflecting on his message overall. Simply sheltering the public from what his major output was, but simply just saying this was a real mover and a shaker, but not in which direction, are the exact same people that would be talking about how I had it coming, you know? I'm not doing that, for the record, okay? I'm not doing that at all for Charlie Kirk or for anybody. But it is ridiculous that it's not enough. Is not enough that, you know, you say, this is unacceptable, this is terrifying, this is really fucked up, right? It's not enough that you say that. You have to also just mourn in the same way that they're mourning, feel the same things that they're feeling. And it blows my mind. I don't know. Luckily, I've never had to do that in my career, and I will not do that. If there's something that I think is the utmost indecency, is just like engaging in performative grief.